What's up, Beer League hockey fans and fellow dumpers? Welcome back to another Dump and Skate podcast. I'm the podcast scheduler, broken and decrepit bender, ball buster, Jeremy. Holland has a little bit more respect for my workout capabilities, but has to word it accordingly so I don't get a big head, a.k.a. I can lift a toilet Abdoo. With me as always.
Oh, that's like 8 months.
Shut up. Well, you know why? It's 8 months ago, and that was a long intro, but I have to make up for the last 3 weeks that we haven't done a podcast. Let me do yours now. With me, as always, the man that makes this podcast possible. I'm talking. Have a little respect. I know it's been 3 weeks. The only producer, the very hardworking, the family man, Jeremy. They don't serve Chick-fil-A sauce at Dunkin' Donuts Holland. That's how long. That's how long I put this intro in my notes from the Nashville tourney. When you remember when we went to Dunkin' Donuts and
was that
in the
in
front
Nashville?
seat. That was on our way to Dunkin' Donuts because Sarah
we were
and you-
leaving.
Yeah,
we were
and
leaving.
Corey's in the back
You tried
seat.
to order Chick-fil-A sauce with our.
I just yelled, "Can I get some Chick-fil-A sauce?" And the lady at the drive-thru was
girl
like, "We
ignored
don't."
it.
We
And
don't
then she was
serve-
like, "We don't have Chick-fil-A sauce."
"Yep." That's how long it's been since we've done this podcast. It's been in my notes since.
How long?
It has been.
several since Nashville.
Oh, jeez, we're falling apart here. Jeez.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all shapes, sizes, and flavors? Welcome back again to your favorite beer league podcast, the Dump and Skate podcast. As Abdoo mentioned in the intro, it has been a hot second since we've been on here. Life has been incredibly busy. I'm very sorry. A lot of that has to do, actually, all of that has to do with me. You guys aren't paying us enough to do this, understandably so. But please, again, you guys want to sponsor, throw some money our way. We'll stop doing the other things we do to make a living, and we'll do more of this for sure. But job definitely got in the way for a good week. Just was really, really, really busy. The kids were going back to school, and then kind of a brief look for you guys that listen and know us. A lot of you guys know us personally, so some of you guys kind of know a little bit more details, but. We've had a lot of stuff going on in my house last week. Last Saturday, we were, Aiden and I were down in Jacksonville for the kids program practice that they were having. And about 10:30 at night, I got a phone call from my oldest son's dad. So he's my stepson. He had been arrested, got himself in some trouble. And was in jail. He was going to end up having to spend the night in jail. And so about midnight, Aiden and I left Jacksonville, drove back. Got back home about 2. Of course, my wife woke my wife up, filled her in what was going on because nobody had been able to get in touch with her. She was asleep, phone was off, all that stuff. And so got him out, and he's got a lot of stuff he's got to kind of make amends for. He seems to understand he's made a mistake, and he's working through it, but he's 18. So, a lot of people make mistakes at 18. Hopefully he can figure that out and kind of move forward, make better decisions. So, but it's been a tough week for us trying to get all of that kind of settled and everything, and get moving forward. So that's been a little bit of the reason why there's been a little bit of hiatus. So if you guys have been missing it, Berlin, we saw the text messages. Stop pestering us. We have life and things to do. We don't sit at home with a baby. So just kidding, Berlin. We love you, but you do sit at home with a baby. So a lot of crazy stuff has been going on. For me personally, that's been a big reason why we haven't been going on. How about you, buddy? How's the personal life been?
I'm dying. Went to the doctor on.
We're all dying.
Well, went to the doctor on Thursday. I'm dying. I got a bad ticker. I got to get that looked at. And then I got to go to a cardiologist. And I'm sure a lot of these people are like, who gives a crap? But look, I got a high white blood cell count, leukemia. It's not leukemia. I'm just saying.
Come on, you can't say that.
All right. And sounds like I'm going to get a hip replacement in the future.
Why did you just say that? Why did you just say that like a hip replacement is a Christmas gift? Like, yay!
Well,
Look what's
because
another
I won't
tree
be-
for Abdoo. Look what Santa Claus brought Jeremy Abdoo.
Well,
a new
look.
hip.
If you guys see me play hockey, and I'm sure you all have, I'm horrible, and the whole reason why I'm horrible is because I have a bad hip. And I'm going to start with some cortisone shots. So hopefully that'll help. And then in the next couple years, I'm probably going to get a hip replacement. And this cough that have, I know you guys have heard it in the podcast. It's some sports-induced asthma, allergy. I don't know. I'm just dying. High blood cells.
Allergy.
High blood cells, bad heart, bad hip. Like Cooch said in the email, broken, decrepit, and old. So,
100%.
Yeah.
Good, confirmed. That's all the
but
doc
I
said.
did get a colonoscopy a year ago, and the doctor did say I have like one of the cleanest buttholes he's seen in a long time, and I don't need to go to get another colonoscopy for like he said usually I will do it 10 years. Well, I don't have to do it for another 15. Clean butthole. You would think with the way I eat, it would be just messy, dirty, but I'm good.
Not even
Podcast is over, boys.
I'm not even touching that. I can't. It's not where I was.
It's something to be proud of.
I was not expecting this to go in that direction at all. I'm not happy it went there either. That's awful.
If you guys want a clean butthole, take some diet advice from me and follow my lead.
Gross. Oh my gosh. Oh man, well, we've got some really good podcasts coming up in the future. Even though we have been recording, we've been talking to some guests we've had on before. You guys all remember Pete Rossi. We know Pete's an avid listener, so shout out, Pete. We love you. We're going to have Pete on. We want him to talk a lot about the kids program here in Savannah. And so he's going to come on here in the near future. We're excited about that. We're excited to pump the brakes of that program, those guys that work hard to help make that happen, parents, kids, all of that. So, and then probably, I got to be really delicate with how I say this, our favorite solo female guest we've had on so far, the one and only Kelly Seymour, was a blast to have on. You and I both said she was just great, even though she's like, I don't really do podcasts or listen to them. I don't know. She was really, really, really good. Every time she thought, like, I don't have anything else to say, she'd come up with another story. So she's got a really cool hockey career. We both had a really fun time talking to her. I told her, I've told you, she's my new favorite female hockey player. And so it's a huge list she had to overcome to be my new number one favorite female hockey player. So I know she's really proud of that. But we put a challenge out there.
Yeah, isn't
her.
the hockey camp legend used to be your favorite female?
Used to be my favorite female player.
Yeah.
But
Big hurdle.
Just because he identified that way. Kelly is actually that way, which is a little different. We'll probably get canceled for that comment, but that's okay.
It's just his penis size. That's all.
It's an innie, not an outie. Sorry, hockey camp.
I'm not pylon.
So you're not. Yeah, I didn't really mean that apology. So Kelly, we've issued a challenge to Kelly, a little game we're gonna play. We're gonna have her on. So she's been prepping for 3, 4, 5 weeks. No, I'm lying. She hasn't prepped at all. She's barely even looked at the stuff we've asked her to look at, and she won't hear this because she doesn't listen to podcasts, but she did have a good time. So we're gonna have her back on.
I'll tag her.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Perfect. Tag her in this one, just this one section. Here's Holland talking crap. But we're gonna have her back on. We're really, really excited about that. I think that's gonna be a fun podcast. A lot of goofing around should be had on that one. So a lot of fun there. So pumped about that. And then, oh yeah, speaking of music, we got to call you out here. So
me?
No. We're calling a listener. Did we relabel him? He's no longer a super fan, or he is still a super fan?
He's our biggest male
super stalker.
No, he said it best. Basically, he and my sister are our biggest fans. But then he's like, "Do you mean biggest fans, or people that just have the guts to like and share every post that you guys do?"
That's true. All right, so he's our number one like and sharer, basically. Outside of your sister, when she catches up with the podcast and likes 37 posts all in a span of
when she's traveling, and then she just sits at the airport, like.
Thanks, Mandy. Appreciate that. Now my phone's dead from the 475 notifications I just got. So
we'll get her on the podcast.
Teachy, I got to call you out here, man. I got to call you out here. So we're working through. We've talked a little bit of music in here before about locker room music. We talked about it with Seymour, and we've asked for some asked you guys for some playlists. I don't know what that was. We've asked you guys
So long.
for some playlists. It's the mustache is interfering with the speech pattern. I don't know what happened there. That was really weird.
Ned Flanders.
We hello neighbor. We have asked you guys about music, locker room music, things like that. And so Abdoo threw out a post a little while back, a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and just was like, hey, tell us some of your pump up stuff. DG, look, man, I love that you follow, love that you like, but what the heck are these songs you put in there? All right, I'm going to ignore the first one. We'll bring it up here in a second, but I'm going to go straight to the ones that everyone else will know. Dogs of War by Pink Floyd. I didn't listen to the whole song because I wanted to go to sleep after the first 60 seconds. I don't know how that's your pump up music and gets you ready to get shot at with a bunch of pucks, but it wasn't it for me. And then the next one, the band, this is going to get me in hot water. I don't have anything against Pink Floyd. I just don't, there's not a ton of Pink Floyd music that I can think of readily that I'm like, man, that stuff's hard. That's what I want to use to get rolling. All right. Metallica was the other band you posted. I had a lot of high hopes for that, but the song Battery is there are probably 20 other Metallica songs that are going to get you fired up. Maybe you're just the guy that likes to, feel, mellow and like a pretty pink flower before you hit the ice and get shot at with pucks. Maybe that's your gig. Those are weird songs, TG. Those are weird.
TG, you'll have your chance. We will get you on the podcast.
You can come after me
we'll
on the
get
pod.
You on your,
that's another wonderful one. We're going to have Teachy on. We really appreciate his thoughts. Teachy, I'll give you your flowers for this. You're a wicked smart guy. We've seen some of the comments in there. You follow a lot of hockey. You understand what you're talking about. So we appreciate the heck out of that for sure. This music stuff is weird, man. It's just odd.
But here's the thing. Yeah. Teachy's driving 2 hours to Charleston. Maybe he is just so tired and just tired from the drive to the rink. Any kind of music will get him pumped. And he just said, I'll just do Pink Floyd because that drive to Charleston is the worst. You just see nothing but trees and trees. It's horrible. So maybe
music.
I bet you
I'll just listen to music. Yeah, he could listen to talk radio and get excited.
He could have said the Bee Gees and he would be just adrenaline high.
Yes. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Teachy has one of those hearts that if he listens to something that's past 75 BPMs, that his heart would race too much and he wouldn't be able to calm down. So he has to.
He's got a ticker like me. Yeah, he's got
to listen to the
ticker.
No. You listen to plenty of stuff well over the 150 mark. So yeah, he's I don't know. So the other one was again, friend of the show, Matt Eckstein, and Matt's personal song. We're going to the top. I think that's what they play in the locker room, but we've Spotify searched it and I couldn't find it. So I really can't judge it. And I'm just gonna say that's more of a locker room thing for you guys, probably not so much for us. We'll let you defend it. I'm sure, TG, you probably have it recorded on your phone. So when you come on, we'll let you play it. And then we'll trash you for liking that one too, I'm sure. Or I will. Maybe Abdoo won't. But anyways, yeah. So, TG, appreciate you listening. But man, these songs, what the heck, my guy? What the heck? Holy crap. So, big news coming out of the roller area. The draft boards, the draft boards are empty at this point. Yeah, shut up. The draft boards are empty at this point because they did their draft this past Wednesday.
Great job, Granny. Jason Greniger, great job.
I know.
You were holding the fort down, really just organizing the draft, organizing the roller hockey. If it wasn't for you, and some other people, I don't know the roller hockey that well, but Granny is really holding the fort down for the roller hockey. He's doing really good for that program. So good for you, Granny. Good job.
Great guy. Granny is the white roller equivalent of Jeremy Abdoo.
I don't even know what that means. You got to explain.
Ball buster.
Okay.
He's got some injuries too that make him kind of like a crippled guy on skates.
Smoking cigarettes is not an injury. All right, that's a choice. That's a choice. Guy just throws darts out. He's a chain darts. He's just throwing darts constantly.
He does. He does it when he refs. I think he does it when he plays. I've even seen him
Yeah.
play goalie and have one under his neck.
Like I just took an inhaler before we did this podcast because of my cough.
And you need to do.
His
You need to
inhaler
do
is
another.
straight up
Is the
nicotine.
cigarette?
His is it's all straight up
It's
nicotine.
the filter in the cigarette.
Yeah, it's tar.
Oh, gosh. Oh my gosh. No,
Okay,
Grinny
so I
legit
get what
has
you
a
mean.
couple of Grinny legit has a couple injuries he's fighting through. He told me last season he had a bad. He didn't know if he was going to skate last season because he was having some problems, I think, with his shoulder. So
He's
but yeah,
the white
he,
Abdoo.
the white roller Abdoo, the white roller Abdoo. So, yeah, no, shout out to Jason Greninger, supreme ball buster, but good dude, and does a great job. I know he's not the only one. Hunter Byram's over there and does a lot of
Yeah, I
work for
forgot
those guys.
Hunter.
All
Yeah.
those guys that are captaining. I know you got Dane, you've got the Smith brothers,
Dane Eckert.
Dane Eckert, he's a captain.
Oh yeah, he is a captain. I thought you meant he was. I thought you meant he was.
No.
Like,
They're
part
not.
of
They
the-
don't run it. No.
Okay.
He's not. I don't think he is running it. But all those guys that captain teams are kind of
Yeah.
a part of making sure that still goes forward. So you got Hunter captains one, Dane captains one, both the Smith brothers, Patty and Rye. Brendan Callow is captaining a team this year, I believe. My good buddy Mike Gardner. I can't think of the rest of them, so I'm going to feel bad because there's only a couple more guys. And so I'm sorry that I can't
It's okay.
remember
It's roller hockey. It's
the
not
last.
real
Oh,
hockey.
Mike Kelly is one of them, and now I'm leaving one out. Now I feel like a supreme jerk. Hang on.
Michael Bond.
No, Bond moved. Bond's not captain. Oh, Griffin. Griff Bergman. Bergie is captain the other one. So shout out to all those guys because I know they do a great job. But we know Grinny. We know you're kind of the face. You're the model.
He
for
really
the
is
league.
the Jeremy Holland of the roller hockey, like an admin, if you will. I mean that
100%, yeah.
sincerely.
Making
Yeah, I
the
mean
hard
that sincerely.
decisions, doing
Like
doing
suspending
yeoman's
people,
work
free
out
cooch.
there.
Free cooch.
So, yeah, full disclosure, I'm not playing roller this year. The time constraints on ice are going to be nuts with Aiden practicing twice a week, me playing at least 2 times a week right now, and then admin and probably the third league and potentially having to jump in and ref some. It's just going to be an absolute madhouse for me once hockey season starts up. So I'm going to have an angry household of people that don't like me because I'll be gone all the time. So, but yeah, so being gone on a Sunday again for roller was going to be just impossible. So, but best of luck to all those guys. We know they're going to have a really good time this year. Appreciate those roller guys making sure that league still goes. There's a lot of guys out there that love it, benefit from it, and want to give those guys
Time.
flowers for sure. Huh?
Same time. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Fair enough. All right. So tonight we want to talk about a hypothetical scenario. Since we haven't chatted in a little bit, figured Abdoo and I would just fill the time with our beautiful faces and voices. And so,
Speaking of beautiful faces, really quick. Nice
Okay.
mustache. Nice mustache.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Hop on the YouTube link for the Spotify and Apple listeners. You'll see that you kind of
Dirt
look like an
squirrel.
Aaron Rodgers. No lie, you
dirt
look like an
squirrel
Aaron
growing on my
Rodgers.
lip.
Aaron
I really
Rodgers.
do think I told you earlier today. I think I'm going to let the soul patch kind of come in. I think it
Okay.
it'll look good. I'm really nervous about like straight razoring my face, not because of what it'll look like, because where I took that puck to the chin, it's
get
like
over it,
reopened.
pansy.
Well, it's reopened a couple times and bled, and I'm terrified to like straight razor and slice it way open. So I'm
All
a
right,
little
so if you
nervous.
slice it open, hear me out.
I'm gonna have to go to the
I
hospital.
got an idea.
Then.
Shove a tampon there.
Oh gosh, shut up, go away! It's a freaking idiot. So.
I'm-
Yeah, we're
I'm
gonna let
sorry.
the mustache
Go on.
roll for a little bit. I had suspicions that maybe I had hairs that were causing some issues there with the beard because both times it was either right after I shaved or like when it was real long, and so I had kind of decided I was going to shave, and I said, you know what, let's give the mustache another whirl. So it's good. Pete saw it
All
today.
right.
Pete liked it. I got
Here's
some
a poll.
compliments this morning in church.
Yeah,
so
let's
there you
just
go.
use this. We'll use this
We'll
right
clip
here.
this. We're gonna have all kind of clips from this one. Boys,
19,
does the
19,
mustache
10.
need to stay or go? I'll give you
Yeah.
a good. There you go. Does the mustache stay or go? Everybody chime in. I'll just be perfectly honest with you. If you says it's got to go, I'm going to ignore you anyways and keep it because it works okay for me right now. So, but
All right, so
go
I
ahead
didn't mean
and
to
vote.
interrupt. I didn't mean
No,
to
you're
interrupt.
good. You're good. You're good. All good. All good. So, yeah. So what we want to do, we got a bunch of different things things we've kind of held back in the old vault for just you and I shooting a solo podcast. We didn't have anything to really talk about, and so we came up with some different ones, some hypotheticals of like what would be the best defenseman or centerman or winger, things like that. What would that look like? We figured we could talk a little bit about that and about like guys we know that would fit some of those molds and how we kind of like those guys. And so we want to talk a little about defensemen today, and I've got a couple of so we want to talk like what's better, what's worse for a defenseman. Like, would you rather have this or would you rather have this, right? And so I've got like a couple of things that we can talk about. Obviously, we can dovetail off of those and talk about like, hey, what if he has this or doesn't have this, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. And if we're going to talk about defensemen, ball busting moment right here. Anthony Asaro. You got to ease up on those carbs. All right.
Jeez, right after it.
Yeah, well, a couple posts.
Hey,
you said
everybody gets ready for hockey season in a different way. Okay, some of us try to put on some extra lbs. Some of us try to lighten up.
Bulking
season is preparation for hockey season too.
But there's a difference between putting on lean muscle and then putting on lean fried food and high carb diet.
Maybe some people's theory is the wider you are, the harder to get around you are. I mean, I know a couple guys that have probably taken that or seem to be taking that theory.
I get it. Well,
I don't think it works, but
I know I'm not good at Sorrow. I know I'm not a good player. I know I'm not good, but you made a comment that you can stop me. I'm going to put you to the test this season, open hockey or when we're playing against each other. I got a couple of clips, so I just want to. You said you could stop me.
What do you mean you got a couple of clips?
So someone's wife, I can't remember who it is because it feels like it's been 20 months since we played. Who's the goalie for their team?
Oh, you're talking about you skating and making moves.
I don't have any moves. My move is
that what you're talking about? Are you talking about the moves from Nashville?
No. Who's the wife on the Silver Knights that records the games?
It's Yeah, that's
see, it's been so long since.
Okay, shut up. It's Tanuzi's wife. This is their goalie's wife.
No, I'm saying it's been so long since we played. I can't remember names until I, go see him. So when Asaro said like I can still stop you at, I'm like, oh, you. That one stung, Asaro. That one stung. So I was like, I'm going to go check to see because I do recall there's been some times that I went around him. So I got. I'm going to add these clips. There was. I got a great one where he right off the face-off just duffs it, and then So you started a war, Asaro. You started a war, but you know what? Even if you do stop me,
I trust these are going to be fair clips. Well, you'll present just as many clips of him doing bad things as you do of you doing bad things, right? Probably not. It's just only going to be clips.
Well,
it'll only be the clips. I get it. It's a war. So you're going to only find the clips that prove your point, and we're going to wait for Anthony to go get his clips that prove his point.
Well, hear me out. I've never really taken any digs. I've never taken hard digs at Asaro. I haven't done that. But I'll tell you what, I love his minimum wage humor. I just love it. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. And then we'll go from there. You know what I'm talking about, Asaro.
Oh, my gosh. I told you my move for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I told you what you need to do. It's matter of fact, it may be my go-to move in A-League this year is if I got a D guy that I just don't think I can get around, I'm going to start firing pucks at his beans, and eventually they'll step out of the way, and I'll be like, I won't have to shoot like that anymore. So,
well, here's the thing. So, according to Asaro, I'm really bad, and I can't get around him.
Let's test the aim, see how good your shot is.
Yeah, I was going to say, look, I could probably hit Asaro's body, but to hit him in the ding-ding, that's like virtually impossible. It's
yeah, but everybody's cup is the same size, right? Almost everybody's cup is the same size. I mean, like.
How do you know he's not using like what is it, a U7?
A Pee-wee?
Cup? Yeah, a Pee-wee cup. Right, yeah.
Yes, it's possible. Sorry.
Well, who's to say?
Who's to say? This conversation was
who's to say he even uses a cup? Maybe he
Oh
just
no.
does the Silence of the Lambs tuck and hide in skates. That could explain why.
He uses a
You
lot
know,
of clear tape.
yes,
Tapes
yes.
that guy back to the side. If it's behind the pads, it can't get hurt.
I'll
Oh
tell you what. I'm
man.
sorry. I apologize.
This
I
is
know it's not big
awkward.
enough to even do the tuck and hide. That's where I apologize. Okay.
Oh
So what you're
my
doing is
gosh.
probably just taping it. And I get it. The rink is cold, so that helps.
Oh gosh. Oh man. All right. So, anyways, about our discussion with defensemen. So the hypothetical scenario that I put forth here is this. My phone went to sleep, so give me a second because that ain't gonna work. All right. So, would you rather have Jeremy Abdoo? Would you rather have a slow but positionally sound or positionally perfect defenseman, or a very fast and hard to the puck defenseman, but was often, if not always, positionally compromised? Which one are you taking?
Easy pick.
Okay.
I would pick the fast person that doesn't know his position
How to
in
stay in
on
position?
defense. Yeah,
Why?
because
Why?
with speed, he can compensate everything else. So, for instance, slow, I'm broken and decrepit. Um, and I'll tell you what, I do this a lot. I say, like, if your brother has it, for instance, if he has the puck from the defensive
Yep.
zone,
Yep.
I'll and we're breaking out, I'll just say, just go, and I drop back. I would rather have his speed than my speed, so he can just go balls to the wall into the offensive zone, and I can drop
All right.
back.
So, is there
And
any
then he's
merit to a guy that is? So, we talked about this with you and about playing in Nashville versus playing in Jacksonville, and how you're a positionally sound guy, which did not work particularly well playing in Jacksonville because we didn't play with a lot of other positionally sound guys. You're not a
mhm.
speedster. But when we were in Nashville, being positionally sound actually worked really well for you, and you had a good tournament in Nashville, even though, again, you're not a speedster. And so I said I would gladly take, and again, I'm not entering my thoughts on the defenseman per se just yet, but that I said I would actually, I appreciate the way you played in Nashville versus, trying to do the same thing in Jacksonville, because that made life easier for me as a defenseman in Nashville. If I knew I had a guy that was always going to be in the right position, it didn't matter if he was the slowest or the fastest guy out there. I knew where you were going to be. So, is there any merit to that? It's just speed, speed, speed. I mean, again,
Yeah, I think
positionally
so
sound
because
means, when I say positionally, like when I say he's positionally compromised, I mean somebody that's like, yeah, they go hard in the corner, but if they don't win the puck, like, they've screwed you. They've taken off into the corner at the wrong time. So they've added two defensemen in the corner on one guy when they shouldn't have. I mean, that's positionally fouling it up.
right,
Or they've been the weak side or the far side defenseman, and they drift over to the near side and leave the back door completely undone. It doesn't matter how fast you are in tight quarters as a defenseman. Again, if we're talking about a centerman or we're talking about a winger, like, that's a little different to me. A defenseman, it's fine. Your speed will help you if you are positionally compromised in the neutral zone and you have enough speed to recover from being in a bad position. But a lot of the defenseman's job is from the blue line down. And if you're positionally compromised there, I don't know how you recover in that close of quarters, even with good speed. You know what I mean?
yeah. So in that specific where you said if the defenseman's in the corner and he's getting eaten alive, I think in a situation like that, that's where you rely on the rest of your teammates to kind of cover for him. That's where your hockey IQ comes in. Like, oh, I can see my defenseman.
Yeah, but
I'll,
it's pulling. You have to now cover for a guy that's
I
pulled
get
himself
it.
out of
I
position.
get it.
So we talked about this a little bit with Grant in Nashville, and I remember, I think we mentioned on the podcast about Grant said, one of the games we played in Nashville, I think it was against the young kids, how Grant felt like it was the worst positional game we had played,
Mhm.
and it showed. We were really, really frustrated, and what we were trying to do was we were trying to chase and match speed with those young guys. And I
Yeah.
remember growing up. Playing roller and playing with a bunch of old heads that were guys that were probably in their late 30s, early 40s, maybe even a little older than that. And they were not the fastest guys anymore. I could skate much faster than they could, and would play with them in tournaments. But they did exceptionally well in tournaments because they were positionally sound and they played in roller. It's a little different. You play puck possession, so it looked a lot like what the NHL looks like when they go into their overtime and they drop down to the, what is it, 4-on-4 or 3-on-3. What do they do for
It's
their
3-on-3
overtime?
in
Was it three on
overtime.
three?
It's
Yeah.
three
And
and over.
so everything is possession. You take your time, take your time, take your time, make the
Yeah,
zone. If you don't like what you have, you just come back out of the zone and hold the puck and start over and reset and take the zone again. They do the same thing on like matching penalties when they roll a 4-on-4. They basically follow the same format. And so that's what we've always done. That's how we've always been taught to do in roller, because there are no blue lines, or anything like that. And so you can spread the rink way apart, and you basically just kind of work. And
right.
the goal there
I
is don't lose the puck. So then it's less, to me, when I'm looking at it that way, it's less important to be super fast. It's more important to be where you're supposed to be.
I do think in Nashville, and I think I said this before. In Nashville, frustration got the best of us, and everyone
100%.
was trying to just
Don't do
do
right.
everything on their own. Be
100%.
but positional hockey, then opposed to having a slow defenseman, I would I would rather have. I don't want a slow defenseman out there because you see it in the C League a lot. Like slow defensemen have a tendency to just go after the puck and not play the man. They'll pinch. And you've heard me say pinch a lot because they know they don't have the speed to get back. They'll pinch and then they just get beat because that's all they know how to do.
Yeah, but see, here's what I'm. All right, so this is the difficult part, right? So what I'm describing, or my hypothetical here, is a slow guy. So he's not, lighting the world on fire with speed. He's slower, but he's positionally not making mistakes. So he knows
So he's
he
slow,
knows
but he's in the right spot at the right time.
all the time. Almost all
Okay.
the time he's in the right place. So he's not making bad steps where he's diving at a guy's
Okay, so
puck.
then
He's
he's not
staying
pinching.
square on
So
shooters.
then he's not
So
pinching.
he's not
I
pinching. He
gotcha.
knows his skill, so he's
Okay.
staying as a high man on the blue line, or he's cheating back into the neutral zone if he feels pressure coming and all. And so he's what you and I would probably refer to as a high IQ defenseman that doesn't quite have the skating
Right.
skills basically everybody else is. And I don't mean like a bad skater. I just mean a
No,
slow
I
guy,
get it.
like a guy
Okay.
that's sure on his feet but slow. So again, I'm kind of angling hard for this, obviously, and if I haven't said it already, like obviously, I think I would take the guy that's going to always be in the right position, just because the more I play ice, the more I realize like I need guys to be where I need them to be. Period. Playing D. If we were having this conversation
Right.
about a
Because if he's
winger, if
yeah.
we were having this conversation about a winger, I need a winger to be where he needs to, where I need him to be. I need him to be fast too. I really wouldn't want to choose one or the other, but I got to have a winger that is where he's supposed to be, 100%. Because
Yeah.
as a defenseman, I'm dying in our zone if they're pinching three and I have no help. We talked in Jacksonville. I called this out and said, I was deep in the zone, my legs were dead, and the only winger that was moving for me was moving all the way across at our blue line, and I was 3 feet from our red line, from the goal line. And so the only option I had was to either give it away and throw it all the way down the ice and ice it, or try to fire it between two of their guys on that one player's stick. And that was the option I chose because it felt better than icing the puck. And I had no choice but to fire a hard pass. The guy could not handle a hard pass, and we turn it over and we're right back playing defense. It's a 3-on-2 turn right back around. So now I look like an incompetent boob who doesn't know how to get out of our zone. And the reality is I've got wingers that aren't where they're supposed to be. I've got a centerman that's left us completely abandoned in the zone. So it's all, that is all problematic to me. So from a defensive standpoint, as a guy that plays D, I would much rather have a D guy that is constantly in the right place all the time. It helps me know, like, if I make a misstep and I'm out of position, because I'm not a natural D guy on ice, and so I know there are missteps I take. But if I'm paired up with a guy that I know is going to be in the right place, he's not going to overcompensate for my screw ups. He's always going to do his job, and he's going to be in position to cover for me if I make a mistake and he's stuck in a 2-on-1. Again, he's going to be positionally perfect. He's going to do exactly what he needs to do in that position as well, because there's, defensemen are supposed to react a certain way there too. So I get the merits of the fast guy. I think the fast guy makes up for his mistakes basically from the defensive blue line all the way to the offensive goal line.
Yeah.
I think the defenseman
You
makes
got to
up for his
compensate
mistakes
for the
there.
faster guy. You got to do a
Yeah,
lot more compensation.
100%. Yeah,
But it also depends on what team you have, what kind of other skaters you have on your team.
I agree. Definitely some of that. I mean, again, perfect world, give me the fast guy that's also positionally sound. And if we're
Right.
building an NHL team, that's what we're looking for. So, but I'm talking about in our beer league teams, if we're rolling through a draft and you got a defensive player that's a flat burner, but he, again, My brother is a good example. Thayer is a great example of this.
I was just
Thayer is
thinking
a
fair.
bigger, yeah. Thayer is a bigger, faster guy. I'm trying to think of somebody. Tommy Condon that played with the blue team. Another good example is, which is a little unfair because Tommy's a goalie, a natural goalie, but played a lot of D,
But
given
he's
what the
so
team
good
needed.
too. He's really
He
good.
is, but he's fast, but he is kind of not a one man show, but he's the guy that has to carry the puck a lot of times because that team was an expansion team and they were kind of struggling there. And so, but like Tommy Thayer's a good example. Chris can be a good example of this. Chris got eat up with when we were in Jacksonville, like really, really bad. He settled down in Nashville. I think we played with a little bit higher
I
talent
think it's
level.
because everyone pulled him aside and said this isn't the C League. You can't pull
Well, it's,
the.
I think also the talent level was higher when we got
Well,
to
that's what I'm
Nashville.
saying. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah. And so all of those guys to me are examples of guys that have got the wheels. They're burners. But even at that, like they're not the fastest guy on the ice. And so eventually they're going to wear out running up and down like that. They're compromised positionally, typically because they've rushed into the offensive zone, burned a tremendous amount of energy, and exhausted themselves on a shift. It can be at the beginning of the shift, midway through the shift, tail of the shift. Doesn't really matter. They've exhausted so much energy, they got nothing in reserves to really get back and help out. And now they have absolutely screwed their D partner. And so Thayer did it a lot where it was like, hey, you really shouldn't be stepping up at all right now.
No,
All
he's
three of your
yeah.
forwards are up in front of you. Pass the puck up. What Chris and Tommy do a lot of is opportunistic rushing, where they make a stop and they're somewhat high already in the defensive zone. And so they're already a step ahead of their D partner, of course, but even a step ahead of maybe a centerman that's dropped down low to help out. And they may be even in a dead even step with a winger so that there's really only one winger ahead of them. So they take off from there, right?
Right.
Again, that's not every single one.
Well, that's why I
So
said
the
it depends
advantage
on.
is, yeah, the advantage is there for them, but it's still, I don't know. It's still, to me, it's a gamble.
Well, that's why I
Having
said
the
it
fast
depends
guy is a
on.
gamble.
It depends on the team that you have around you too. Like with Fader, I wouldn't want that kind of defensive mindset where he can just run it up and then not hustle back.
So Thayer's
And
so Thayer would be out if we were doing a mock draft, right? Again, we're not
yeah,
kicking Thayer off anybody's
no,
team, but if
this is
we're just rolling guys' names, this is purely hypothetical. Thayer would be an absolute. We're not going to pull that guy as a, let's call it a number 2D. Let's say we've already got a number 1D that we're confident in, is a positionally sound guy and has good speed, right? So we're finding a partner on our number 1 line, and we're having to pick between guys that are either really fast or positionally sound. Thayer is a guy we're saying, hey, he's quick, he's fast enough to skate up, but he is such a compromised positionally guy because he steps in the wrong times. We're looking over him,
but see
right?
that maybe that could be he does that because he was in the C League. Regardless, it's like because like I think he would just skate up, but then he would
I don't know. I think some of
hustle.
that's, yeah, I think some of that's, yeah. I mean, it could be.
I don't know.
Again,
Like
that'd be a Tommy would probably fall into that category too, where you would ask that question is
yeah,
this a hockey personality where this is kind of your MO, or was it a virtue of what team you're on, right?
yeah.
Zach Whitney, a good buddy of mine, plays on my team. My other buddy, Mike Mitchell, that has had to leave us because he moved back to New York. Mitchie is a good hands guy, but dropped back and played D for us because he's a good positionally sound guy. And he's plenty fast. So he's like the best of both worlds. But Mitchie's not afraid to carry the puck. But Mitchie's very smart about it, right? Witt is same kind of thing. Witt is a fast guy. He's a big guy. He's got a good shot, good hard wrist shot, good hard slap shot. Wrist shot's way more lethal in my opinion than his slap shot most times. But Witt is a guy that will step a lot of times and pinch when he doesn't necessarily need to. And so Witt and
Okay.
I will pair together because I'm a stay home guy on the ice because I know that I don't necessarily have the fastest legs and can't necessarily outrun guys getting back. And so I try to stay home because if I'm playing D, I understand that's my primary job. And it's not to try to, put pressure on the goalie and stuff like that. And so I remember talking to Mitchie when he first moved back, and we talked about some of the pairings that we did. And I paired up with Witt, and he laughed. He was like, "That's probably good." He was like, "You're kind of by nature like a stay-home guy when you're playing D." He was like, "And Witt's more of like a, I forget the term he used. Oh, riverboat gambler." when Witt kind of takes off and runs. So I mean, we've got some of it in the A League too. I'm trying to think. There's some other. Tim Grande is one of the guys in the A League that I've talked about him a couple of times. Probably one of the better defensemen, if not the best defenseman. Big tall guy, but on the past 2 years we've played, he's kind of been a lot of his own team's offense. He's captained his team and everything, but he's a great D guy. But he also can carry the puck. But it's not a good. He's not a defensively. I mean, positionally unsound guy. Like he's in the right spot. He's actually like the mixture that you want. Like he's fast, like really fast, great hands, and he's always seems to be in the right position, even if he rushes the puck up and is their primary offense. You turn around. I mean, unless he's just flat gassed, he's back checking or he's gotten back in front of you somehow, and he's playing D again. So Timmy would be like the like perfect world, perfect world. Let's stick with the C League guys and think through some of the other areas.
Yeah, I was just
I don't
thinking
want to
I'm
pick
the
on
worst.
Anthony
I'm the worst
anymore.
of
We'll
both
just leave
worlds. I don't.
Anthony alone.
No, actually, I'll be honest. Anthony Asaro, I'll make up for what I said earlier. You actually, because you said you're normally a forward player, you actually play good positional defense. He's in the right spot at the right time.
I don't want to. I don't want to make it the pick on Anthony show, but I would say he is not a fast guy, so he is problematic. If you have a fast skater, that you don't really have to get around him, you just skate past him. But like you said, I would agree. He is a positionally. When I graded him out, that was one of the things I noticed when I was grading out everybody in the C League last year to help for the redraft stuff. He is a positionally sound
Yeah.
defensive player. He would be a guy that I would say would probably need to stay in the B League or go into the B League next year, like you said, because of being positionally proper all the time.
But he would probably be a forward then. I don't think he could play defense. But one thing is sorrow, you would always pass to the point and he's there. It's not like he's drifted into the middle.
Positionally sound, right where he's supposed to
Right.
be. I think there's a benefit in that. If you put, all right, this is a good, all right, we can do this. Christopher, to me, I don't think we can really consider him because I think Christopher rushes by nature of we need goals. And I think he did the same thing when we were in Jacksonville. And I think what settled down when we made it to Nashville was he realized I don't need to do that anymore. I can pass the puck and these guys can work. And in fact, Christopher could do both because we pulled him off of D, rotated Pete back, and told Christopher to go play up. I think that's what we did. But Christopher rolled up, and then he rushed constantly just like he would playing forward.
Chris is a go.
So,
he's just
go.
And
again,
go.
I think a lot of it is tied to what he feels is necessary on the ice. So I don't want to grade him on that because that's probably unfair. If we purely call him a D guy and say, hey, you're not running up the ice, even though he has speed, he's probably not going to compromise himself positionally.
Okay.
So I'll scratch him in the list. So we've got Fair as a guy that we say is 100% a fast guy, but positionally a little.
Yeah.
We've got Sorrow.
He's kind of like back to Fair. He is kind of like a Chris. He just goals. He just goes forward.
But I would argue I think Fairs is more of that's his hockey
Style.
personality. Yeah. Because I've watched him do it when it was wildly unnecessary for him. There were multiple outlets for him to move the puck up to. There were multiple guys yelling at him, "Don't rush up the ice," and he did it anyways.
That was me.
I think it's his personality, right? So I think we can very squarely pit Fair on one side there, on the fast but positionally compromised, and I think it's a fair.
What about the Cleanse King? We put him on defense for a good portion.
Cleanse King?
Kirkland. He remember he did a cleanse. It didn't work.
Where would you? That's right. None of these diets work. I've tried them for 72 hours. They don't work at all.
They don't work.
Dang you diet people.
But we put him on defense. He's.
Where would you put him on the spectrum of fast versus positionally sound and slow? Would you call him fast and positionally compromised?
I mean, he's one of our better players, really, and for defense, I would say.
I think Fair is almost, I'm not going to say the perfect mold, but I think Fair is a really, really good example of fast but positionally compromised. Because he constantly puts himself in a bad position by running up the ice. I'm trying to think other teams that have guys that potentially do that. I don't think, I'm thinking through.
Well, I was going to say I'm trying to go through the Griffins. I don't know who their defenseman is.
the bigger guy that's the older
Bond.
guy. But I can't
Bond.
think of his name. You think Bond's a fast guy that's positionally compromised?
No, I
You
just
think he's
think
a slow guy that's positionally sound?
he's a slow guy
You
that's
just think he's a defenseman
compromised.
that you wanted
Yeah,
to make.
he's exactly like so. True story. Like if I
He's slow
yeah
and positionally
yes
compromised. I didn't
hundred
say this.
percent.
Bond Abdoo did.
I said it. Going to the shootout. You deserve it. You deserve
That
it.
has nothing to do.
I know it doesn't, but he said that he had to go in there. I'm going to be honest, Bond. I can't play defense, and I would be slow, and I wouldn't know what to.
Compromise.
Yeah,
No,
for
there's
sure.
video. There's video of you playing D in Nashville. You did a good job.
Oh, I did it in Jacksonville too on a power play.
Yeah,
We
but
were,
there's no video of that.
but it happened. I have witnesses.
I mean, in pictures or video, it didn't happen. So
well, we didn't have. I don't.
you could have paid witnesses. You got that kind of money, so I've heard.
You were there. I didn't pay you anything. I'm
didn't
saving
see
my money
anything.
to money
I didn't
bags.
see
Right here.
anything.
Money bags.
I didn't see anything. That's the new rink you bought and built in your backyard, right?
Yeah, the House of Abdoo.
All right, let's get back to this here. All right, so I think Fayer's clearly on one end of the spectrum if we're looking here, working through a draft. To
Who else
me,
would be?
I would put Asaro at the opposite end of that spectrum. I don't know that he's all the way over there like, oh man, he's slow as molasses, but positionally sound.
He's not slow as molasses. He can
But
skate.
he's not fast. He's not what I would call fast. And I wouldn't have called him fast in the C League, and I definitely won't say he's fast in the B League. But he is, as you stated, positionally sound, and I would agree with that. So we have Fair at one end, we've got Asaro at another end. I don't know. I'm trying to think through other guys that would.
Oh, what
fit
about the
those molds.
Robertsons? They play defense on the spoon bill on their
All
team,
right, so
right?
I think Andrew plays defense, and I think Brendan actually played as a forward. I think Andrew stayed back a lot. And so that's a really similar situation to Chris, where I think Andrew is
Just get goals.
somewhat go all the time because of his nature of being like, hey, you're the one that's got the score. Now, again, I think proof for that is when we played with Andrew in Jacksonville, we pushed Andrew up as a forward for a little bit, and we rotated him back as a D guy. He stayed home. He did not try to do other people's jobs. He actually did his job of staying home at D. So I think Andrew is a fast guy that can be positionally sound. So I don't think he qualifies for that. I'm trying to think other guys on his team. They had a guy. It's been so long since I've rolled.
That's what I'm saying.
The rosters.
That's what I'm saying. I'd have to
They
go
had a
back
guy on their team that I thought Taylor Foll. Taylor Foll plays, I think, defense for them, and Taylor is a guy that is reasonably fast. I mean, he wasn't like a burner, but he would qualify a little higher on the scale, like closer to the middle. If middle is a guy that his speed and positional sound are perfectly matched, Fayer is at the far end of the, hey, you got a lot of speed, but you're wildly positionally compromised. Taylor would be just a little closer to the middle on that. Taylor is not quite as fast, I think, as Fayer, but he's a fast guy. But I also don't think he's quite as positionally compromised as Fayer. I think he's slightly better position, but I think Fayer has slightly better hands and is slightly faster than Taylor. So I think the closer they get to the middle, the more I'm looking at them like, they're probably more of a second line guy to me. I either want a guy that's always in the right spot all the time, or I really want a guy that's really fast. So Taylor, even though he falls on one side of the spectrum, he's a guy that I would still probably, if you're giving me a choice between the three of them, I'm still leaning more towards either Fayer or Anthony.
Yeah. Who's on
Taylor,
the
wouldn't.
ice? What are they? The Ice Dogs?
Ice
The black and
Hogs.
yellow team? The Ice Hogs?
Ice Hogs. They have a couple of guys that are firmly in the, let's see.
Is
Extine, I
Extine's
think,
a
plays
forward?
D.
Is he a D? Yeah, he would. What would you
remember
put
that?
that?
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We should have been talking about
Eckstein's
this.
Eckstein's probably on the opposite end of the spectrum. He's probably slightly inside of Asaro.
Yeah.
Probably a little faster than Asaro. And a little, I don't know. He's probably just as positionally sound as Asaro.
Yeah.
Maybe he's on the opposite side. No,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like,
Eckstein would be a middle guy. He'd probably be a guy we'd pull early. I think he's probably got enough of both that he'd be like right in the middle, and maybe he'd be a guy you would grab.
I don't know.
if he's a
Between
deep
him and
cut.
Asaro, I don't know. I mean, it's a coin toss for me.
Yeah,
One's not bad, you know.
it's
Yeah.
probably pretty
Uh,
close there.
hmm.
Oh, I know they do have a guy. Reed, Eric Reed, is that his first name?
Yes.
I'm
Art.
gonna
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
bad. Oh my gosh. Sorry, my dog just put his like soaking wet mouth on my leg. That scared the crap out of me. Um, yes, so Eric does music stuff with Matt as well.
Hmm.
Eric is a D guy that I think is similar to Fair. I think he's a little better positionally, but he's a big, tall, long guy,
Hmm.
and I know he's positionally compromised because he's on a regular basis he's trailing guys from behind, and he's got a heavy, heavy stick. I played with him, and so I kind of know a little bit of what how he plays and all, and so he's probably a slightly better version um, of Fair. So I
Okay.
would same thing.
I kind of remember him.
I'd probably pull Eric before I'd pull Fair, or before I would pull Asaro. Asaro and Fair are probably still the two guys I put at the farthest end of each spectrum,
Mm.
that seem to have a lot of one tool, but not a lot of the other one. I think Reed has enough of both that
What
he's a
about the
good pick.
Phantoms? Who's on the Phantoms that plays D? I can't remember.
Their captain did. They had a big guy that was. He was kind of both. How about your boy we talked about the other day, with the red bucket? Um,
Hurd?
Military
Nick
guy,
Hurd?
Hurd. Yeah, Hurd's probably a speed but not positionally sound
No.
guy, right? He's more of like a Fair, you think? I don't think he's as sure on his feet quite as Fair is,
He's
but I
not
think
he's
he's a
not
young guy,
agile
so
on
he's in good
skates.
shape.
He's not
Yeah,
agile on skates.
yeah, he's a young.
I
I
would
mean, I wouldn't call Fair twinkle toes.
no, but I don't know. I'm just saying this. This is my honest opinion. And
Honest
Nick Hurd,
opinion.
if you're listening, please don't come after me about this one. But I would say he's an Extine Asaro. Maybe a little one step above.
A love child of Eckstein and Asaro.
Um, no, I just think slow but positionally sound
You think he's
ish.
slow? So you have a completely different opinion of Hurd than I do. I think Hurd
I
falls on
don't.
the other side of the spectrum. I think Hurd is more like a Reed player. I think Hurd has some
I'm
wheels
really
to him.
trying to
Again,
think on this one.
I know he's not he is I would say he is not a technically sound skater. His
No,
skating
100.
methods, I
That's what
would
I'm getting at.
shake
He's
my
like
head and be like, man, there's some of these look a little
he's
clumsy.
just like a
But
Jeremy Jordan. That's what I would say.
he gets the job done 100%. Like I don't have a question about that. Oh, there's a good one.
Jeremy Jordan.
Tulo. No.
Oh,
Jordan played as a forward. Tulo is a great example of a guy that is usually positionally sound, but his feet have not come back. You know, I'm talking about the big guy
yeah,
that
I know who
played
you're
that.
talking about because you kept on hyping him up when he came back for when he started to play the second half.
Relax. He played a
No,
lot. Came back to play the second half. No. Tulo was there the whole time.
has he been there? No, because he
Yeah, he
did
was there the whole
the.
time.
Didn't he
No,
do the evaluation skate? The second half of the
yes,
evaluation skate. That's what I'm saying.
I
The
think so.
second. Yeah, that's where I met him.
Okay,
That's where I met him.
Yes. You
Um,
said second half. I thought you meant the season.
no.
Tulo, I got you. Yeah,
But I get
Tulo
you said
has
that he's a
played a
great
lot of
roller.
ice. He's more agile on roller than you think because
Mm.
Tulo's a big boy. But on ice, I just don't think he had his feet underneath him really well. And
Right.
it kind of showed all season long that
Hmm.
he was struggling to get his edges and stuff back. And so another season, maybe two, and he's probably going to look like a little different player. He's a lot faster than you realize on roller, like a lot faster. But he is a positionally sound guy. He gave me fits when I played him a couple of times on roller. He just always was kind of in the right place, and so
So are you saying
at the
he's?
moment I would kick him over to the Asaro side. Because his skate,
Yeah.
sorry,
Okay.
because his feet aren't fully underneath him. I think he's positionally sound. He's got an absolute missile for a shot. But
Right. I would take him over
he's
Nick Hurd.
typically 100%.
Okay.
Would
All
you
right.
take him over Asaro?
Tulo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think out of everyone that we named on defense, I'd pick Tulo first.
Tulo first. See, and
Yep.
I think maybe that's probably because Tulo's more towards the middle. All right, so I think here's our actual choice. As much as we've like walked around it all, I could
We
be
really
really
did.
ugly. I'm not even really like it. All right. So here's, I think, our choice. I think our best models of what we've described, and this was not intentionally done this way, but I think the best models are Thayer is our guy that has speed, but is an absolute dingleberry when it comes to positional hockey. Anthony Asaro is our guy that is 90% of the time going to be in the right position, but is just not the fastest guy on the ice. Is again was never the case when he was in C League. Was probably at best the fifth fastest guy, maybe sixth fastest guy on the ice at any given point when he was out there. And when we get to B League, he will be 100% one of the slower guys in that league. Again, not just like the bottom of the whole league, but like every time he plays, he's going to be one of the slower guys on both teams, right? And again, this isn't a knock on these guys for their hockey abilities. This is our take. If you don't like it, at me. I don't care. So Thayer's fast, dingbat positionally. Asaro is, we'll just call him slow, but positionally going to be there 90, 95% of the time. Which one of those guys in the hypothetical, when you're drawing straws and those are your defensive options, which guy are you grabbing?
Thayer or Asaro?
Yep. To be fair, neither one of you dingbats are actually getting drafted to one of our teams. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying if
No,
we're
but
left
this is
with that
it's going to
decision,
happen now. This is going to happen.
now it's going to happen. We're going to have to make
Right.
a pick. And like, I know who I'm taking.
I'm gonna do a coin toss. I think just because I played with them since day one, I'm picking Thayer. I think
Well,
picking
me and
Thayer.
me and
Although
Anthony are
maybe
me and Anthony
I'm
are
gonna
going to
take.
kick your
Oh yeah,
butt.
that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking maybe Asaro as well because honestly, Asaro makes plays happen. He can make stuff.
Positionally
Yeah,
sound guys
yeah.
usually do. The
I think
only
I'm taking.
time I'm
You know what?
ever
I'm gonna
worried
take.
about the only time I'm ever really worried about a slow guy is when he's out of position. And I think a guy that is positionally sound 90, 95% of the time will be able to compensate unless he's playing way over his head speed wise. They're going to be able to compensate
I'm
for
still thinking
their
on
lack
this.
of speed. Nah,
I've had the chance to play with them both.
that was an easy one for me, honestly.
I'll tell you what.
I've not
Asaro's
played with
too nice of
Anthony
a guy.
lot.
He wouldn't fight. Thayer would fight somebody, and he'd yell at the ref. So I'm
That's
taking.
what it's coming to.
Yeah,
So
that's what it's.
screw
Screw
this
talent.
30-minute conversation.
Yes.
Screw this 30-minute conversation and the premise of the hypothetical. Anthony, you're too soft and you wouldn't actually drop the gloves, you big fairy. So
Thayer
we're taking
would,
Thayer
but
because he would.
but you know what? Honestly, Asaro would make
Asara would send a letter to the admins. That guy was really mean.
Asaro would get us a warm shower, and he'd make a play happen. So, Asaro, man, here you go, Asaro. You got some airtime today, a lot of it.
Holy crap.
So
Unintentionally so, but yeah, a
it
lot
was
of it.
total 100% unintentional.
I would 100% without even thinking really hard about it, pull Anthony. Because I'm going to take a positionally sound guy. I think a guy like Thayer is going to compromise you so much.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you a lot of goals. I don't think.
All right, I'm taking Asaro.
With his
I'm
slow,
taking Asaro.
I don't think Anthony with slow feet is really going to cost you that many goals because a guy that has slow feet knows where he's supposed to be and he understands what his job is. And a guy like that is going to do exactly what Asaro does. He's going to stay. He's going to hug the blue line. He's going to put pucks deep. If he's in trouble, he's going to turn his back to the play, skate hard to get back in front of the play, and get turned back around so he can get back in the right position.
All right,
Again,
hear me out.
He may get beat by faster guys. I get it. That's going to happen. But at least he's back where he's supposed to be and can kind of help continue to back check.
You sold
and
me.
Play.
I'm taking Asaro.
Thayer, on the other hand, is skating all the way down, shooting the puck, missing the net, hitting the glass, and standing at the goal line. Be like, somebody's got to cover for the defense, guys.
Right.
So,
and he's not even hustling back. But here's the thing. You get a guy like Zach Berlin on Asaro, and
he's in trouble, 100%.
Yes.
But that's where I say, again, it's not a perfect science here. We're sacrificing
no, I get it.
here.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Again, the way the B League is going to be structured this year, you're going to have some guys that are just going to be flat faster than him. I mean, just 100%, you're going to have guys that are going to be flat out faster than your D guy. You're going to have to trust that you grab the D guy that positionally knows what he's supposed to do, knows what his talent level is.
All right, you sold me.
I'm
taking Asaro. I'm taking Asaro.
I'll send a letter to the other captains right now. You've been drafted. It's official. Oh man. So yeah, it's harder than you think, though, isn't it?
It
I,
really
I had
is.
my I had my mind made up kind of all along that I would take the slow guy that's positionally correct, but that's because I played a lot of D, and that is important to me right now.
Hmm.
Um, and so, but we introduced a handful of guys that I was like, I don't know, it'd be like you get a
Wait a
Tulo in there.
second.
Tulo is not the fastest guy, and so he's got some benefits, but he's one that he got himself a little out of position a few times because he tried to be the fast guy.
Right.
So he's he'd
All
be a
right.
hard pick for me.
Before I give my final answer, fair
Oh
or
God,
a
I thought the
sorrow,
final answer had already been given. All right,
who's my goalie? That changes everything.
it's not Kyler. It's your
Oh,
normal goalie. It's
well,
Brent.
all right. And I'm
Standard
out.
team. Again,
Yeah, and
the premise is we're picking a B league team.
right, yeah. So,
So that's why
but if I'm on
that's
the
why I
ice,
didn't
if I'm
steer
on
into
the
A
ice out
league
there with
guys.
them, if I'm on the ice with Asaro and or Fair and Brent's in there, I don't care. I trust Brent's going to stop whatever bad issue is going to happen.
All 32 times each
With
game.
his tongue sticking out.
Yeah. He posted some more pictures today with his freaking
Yeah, he was in
tongue hanging out.
Vancouver.
What a
He was in
dingbat.
Vancouver. He should
Took a
get it
Cessna
pierced.
plane over the glaciers. Did you stick your tongue out of the glaciers, Brent? What the heck?
Brent, you got to stop that because
Seriously, it's driving me
my friend
nuts.
Aaron Blattner, I said this on the podcast, hit me so hard that I bit my tongue and it swelled up. And I'm just telling you, you have no idea how much you use your tongue.
That needs to
you-
be on the shoulder plates of the Zeros jerseys this year, Brent, with his tongue hanging out. Just a mouth. Just this.
Like we should just get a big, what are those signs? Like a big fat head, and put it behind the bench. I know a
Maybe we can
sign
get somebody to
company
make
that
a
charges.
banner. Do we
Yeah, I know someone
somebody
that
can
makes.
make a banner?
We were just talking about that. I know someone that charges $95 for a rush order on a banner.
Perfect. I love it. Let's get it done.
Should I say a speech? So, anyways. All right, guys, you hung with us. Hey, first of all, thank you. We should have said this at the beginning. Thanks for sticking with us this far.
We'll
on
say
a
at the
little
end,
mini
so only
hiatus.
Teachy. So only Teachy and Mandy
Teachy
here.
and Mandy. Yeah, but Mandy will listen to it in 2 listens
6 weeks.
because she listens to it
6
like
weeks.
as she's getting ready. But
6
we'll
weeks
have
we'll get a thumbs up from Mandy.
we'll have Mandy
Thanks,
on the podcast. We'll have Mandy on the podcast. She knows her hockey. She knows her hockey.
She does. Yep. Questionable decisions in other areas, but hockey, she seems okay. So,
She can lift more than you.
oh man, 100%. Scrawny male human here. Scrawny male human. Boy child.
Well, for the record, you are the strongest guy in the Saturday classes, so good for you.
Only guy. I wouldn't have been there this Saturday. I would have been the weakest guy in there by a long shot.
Oh man, that
Oh,
guy,
wait a minute. You said, can we go back to this? I am the strongest guy in the class on Saturdays. Are you going to stand by that?
No,
Stronger
no,
than
no.
you.
You're
Stronger
the
than
strong.
you. Stronger
no.
than you.
But can we just
Excellent.
can
Hey
we just
guys,
talk
thanks
about
for
what the doctor-
listening. See you guys later.
No, can we just talk about with my high blood levels? We should have done this earlier. The doctor's like, "Hey, are you sexually active?" Yeah, no. Is it too late? So, anyways, I
Here we
said
are.
so we were at I was at the doctor's and I have a high blood cell count. She's like, "Oh, it could be because you have an infection," and she's like, "Oh, you sexually active?" And I go, "Yeah, no, I wish I was, but no, I'm not." And I kind of laughed and go, "Yeah, no, not at all, not at all." So I don't even know why I brought this up. We were talking. We can edit this. We're not even going to edit this out. Sorry, fam.
We don't edit. Oh my God. Sorry, man.
Screw that up.
Oh
Whatever.
man. Guys.
No one listens
thanks
this
for
far. No one
listening.
listens this far.
Thanks for listening. Appreciate you being patient with us as we've worked through some bugs on our end. So we'll try to get a little more consistent on some pods and getting back to pumping out 1 or 2 a week here. And so you degenerates have something to listen to. So thanks for listening, guys. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
It's the most depressing bye I've ever heard.
Yeah, well,